4 unorthodox ways that I improved my mental health. And don't mind me if I look down a little bit. I have my my notes right here, my journal. So when we're talking about mental health, everybody knows like, oh, improve your mental health by exercise, improve your mental health by eating right or meditating or journaling and all these things. And so, yes, these are a lot of the main things that you want to be doing. So I'm not sure if these things that I'm going to say right now would help if you're not taking care of your health, if you're not taking care of business in other ways, right? But these are kind of more unorthodox ways to get almost like even happier, right? Basically, let's just jump right into it. So these are a couple ways that I noticed improved my mental health beyond journaling, beyond exercise, beyond all the other meditation and and it's like I do these things, but these are more ways that I found that are kind of like more niche ways, more unorthodox, deeper into your habits, right? So there's two different subsections of these unorthodox ways. So one is environmental care, and 2 is self-care, right? So we're going to start with environmental care. The first unorthodox way that I improved, or the first thing that I did the first thing on the list of unorthodox things that changed my mental health for the better was buying plants. Buying plants, and the best way I can describe this one to you is, I feel like as humans, the more advanced we get, and the more technology we develop, and the more we advance, the smarter we get as a species, the further away we get from nature. We have a whole word named animals that nobody really associates with themselves, even though we're animals too, right? We have houses, phones, buildings, cars. There's a lot of people, I feel even most people don't get out unless it's time to go into their car, which is another enclosed space protecting them from nature, driving to work, which is another building, right? And then they get out of that building and then they get back into their technology, which is their car, then they drive home, and then they get into their next piece of technology, which is their home, and they sit there on the computer or on their phone or on the video game or on the TV, and we don't spend time in nature. And one, if you find yourself in this routine, just going out there and being in nature is going to improve your mental health. But at the end of the day, this is where life has evolved. So if we are indoors most of the time, which most people are, because this is how life is, why not bring nature inside? Why not make your room more green? And this is one of the reasons why I started buying plants, because I started realizing that my room, me as a conscious person and just nature loving person, my room always felt so lifeless. And as we know, like I said earlier, us getting further away from nature is only making our mental health worse. And that's because we're animals. We thrive off sunlight. We thrive off greenery, off plants. We breathe out what plants need to breathe in, and then plants breathe out what we need to breathe in. So if you're not spending time outside, if you're not spending time in nature, you're essentially not breathing that well. you're not getting the nutrients from the sun. You're not getting your vitamin D. You're not getting all these things that contribute to a healthy human brain and a healthy human body. So bring some plants inside. See how it makes you feel. Start taking care of a plant. Start with one plant. Start with something easy. I wouldn't recommend a succulent. Succulents are okay. They're okay. But the only reason I say I wouldn't recommend one is I would recommend one if you just want one to bring inside. But I would recommend a plant that's not too hard to take care of, but forces you to actually do things like water it and touch the soil. It might sound so weird to you if you don't have any plants, but touching soil feels so good. Like it just feels so right. Like it reminded me that this is something that we're actually supposed to be doing, as humans, as animals. We're supposed to be outside. We're supposed to be touching soil. That people refer to it as go touch some grass. Like, when was the last time you touched some grass, right? But at the end of the day, even touching soil feels so nice. Like, it just feels so good. So taking care of these plants, actually, it triggers something in your brain that makes you feel happier, and then you're creating a better breathing environment in your room because you have plants. You're surrounded by life, and they're breathing back at you, right? So, and spoiler alert, my next unorthodox way that I improved my mental health also has to do with another thing that contributes to your breathing environment. Deep clean your space more. I don't mean just making your bed and picking up shit that's on the floor. I mean deep clean your space more. Vacuum under the bed, dust your desk, vacuum the corners of the room where like dust settles and stuff like that. Just dust your room very often and vacuum very often, and get into the crevices that we don't feel like doing very often. Get into those crevices. Get under the bed, get under the desk, dust the desk, sweep, all that, disinfect, do all of that. Create a better breathing environment for you. If you're going to be spending more time inside, which we do as humans, most of the time, especially this day and age where we're working from our laptops, we're working from home, or we're working in an office, or wherever we're working, deep clean that space. So the combination of deep cleaning your space, creating a better breathing environment in that way, and then having plants around you that are also not only giving you, the oxygen, better oxygen when you're breathing. They're also a good sight to see. Green has become one of my favorite colors, not because I like to wear it, because I really do not like wearing green, but seeing green is just, there's a reason why red lights are red and green lights are green. Like, it's actually psychological. Like, they were designed with psychology in mind. Green is a color that humans like. And I feel like a big reason is because green symbolizes life. Green symbolizes positivity. Green is just money, you know what I'm saying? Like, we like green. Actually, I even have like my closet, and I didn't do this purposely, but my closet door is green. So that's also something that I just felt like sharing. But yeah, seeing green around in your room and breathing in the oxygen that your plants are giving to you, it's phenomenal. It really does go a long way in terms of how you feel while you're working in your room. You can be working in your room, but you feel like a little bit like you're outside. And here's a bonus tip: like, open the blinds, let your sunlight in, because that's another thing. So those are the two things that have to do with environmental care. Now let's talk about self-care. So I've always been into maintaining my appearance and making sure that I look good, right? Getting haircuts, grooming, using certain skin products or whatever. But, as men, we tend to definitely like streamline the beauty process, or the skincare process, which is not always a bad thing. But I will say, the more you put into, we naturally just have to do less than women, because we don't wear makeup and we don't do like that type of stuff most of the time. But in order to really enjoy your skincare routine, you have to put a little bit more into it. So I've always been really into natural products. So all the skincare people are gonna flame me for this, but I used to only wash my face with black soap and then moisturize my face with shea butter. And I thought that was good because I'm using all natural products. But when you dive deeper into it, even though black soap is natural, it is a little bit harsh. It strips the skin of a lot of moisture. So essentially, before I even dive deep into like what I'm doing now for my skincare, I'm just gonna say that when you have a skincare routine that is actually a routine, like it's actually like steps, and it's actually it's actually something for you to do, something that you have to, a task. It's actually like a decent task. It's not just, oh, you just wash your face and you're done. It does a lot for your mental health. It does a lot for your mental health, because for me, that's one of the things I first incorporated when I found my mental health was slipping, and I was journaling and I was working out and I was meditating. I was doing all these things, but I felt my mental health slipping, and I was like, okay, I started trying new things, and skincare was one of them. So now I have a dedicated face wash, an exfoliator, a face mask that I do a couple times a week. The exfoliator is also only a couple times a week, and a moisturizer. My moisturizer is still shea butter, because I feel like most of those like moisturizers for skincare, my skin just don't really be liking them like that. So, but now that I have a routine where I'm washing my face, and then I'm like exfoliating, and then I'm like putting on my eye cream, because I do have eye cream as well. And then I wait for it to dry, and then I do this, and then, so it's like, it's almost like it feels like you're at a spa, but you're doing it for yourself. You know what I mean? And it just kind of evokes this new emotion, or a stronger emotion of, I actually really do care about myself. You know what I'm saying? I actually really do care about my appearance. I actually really do take good care of myself. And so it gives yourself, first of all, it helps your confidence, because your skin starts looking better, skin starts feeling better. But also, it feels good to do. Like these days, I don't miss, twice a day, morning, night, got my skincare routine on lock. So that's one thing, but dental routine is also important. So that includes flossing, flossing at night. I don't floss in the morning because I floss at night and I don't eat while I sleep. So there's not really a point in flossing in the morning. But brushing twice a day, morning and night, rinsing, so gargling twice a day as well, and then flossing at night is my current dental routine. And all of that collectively, my skincare routine and my dental routine, both take about maybe 15 minutes. But that 15 minutes is like, it's nice. Shit's nice. Like it really lets you It really helps. It really helps your mental health. That's like the best way I can describe it. If you're confused and you don't really understand why, the only way you could really understand is if you tried it for like 2 weeks, and got into the routine of doing it for like 2 weeks, and you'd see what I'm talking about. Now, the last and final thing is probably the most unorthodox one. So the last one, like I said, there was 2 sections: environmental care, self-care. Environmental care was deep cleaning your space, buying more plants, taking care of your plants. And then the self-care ones were, your self-care routine, so your skin care and your dental care routine. And then the second one is foam rolling. Foam rolling is amazing. And if you don't know what foam rolling is essentially, it's like this big cylinder that's made out of foam. Some are softer than others, some are hard. But they're used to kind of like a self deep tissue massage in a way. So the reason why foam rollers exist is because in our bodies, we have this thing called trigger points. And trigger points are essentially knots in your body, that knots of muscle that are like have tensed up to the point where it's like they've tensed up to the point where you have there's so much tension in that one area, and there's so much sensitivity in that one area, that if you were to apply pressure there, it would hurt really badly. And so it's basically, so the textbook definition of a trigger point is discrete, focal, hyper-irritable spots located in a taut band of skeletal muscle. So essentially, we're walking around, and if you're watching this, you have trigger points. We all have trigger points. So we're basically walking around with hyper-irritable spots all over our body, right? And there's something that you can, and it's subconscious. You don't feel it because it's not being what's the word? It's not being activated. Nobody's poking you there, or you're not. If you've ever gotten a massage and you've gotten to the point where the massage, like there's a spot on your body where the massage actually hurts like really, really freaking badly, that's probably a trigger point, most likely a trigger point. And we have them everywhere. Deep tissue massages are good for them, but we don't all have the means to go get a deep tissue massage all the time. So foam rolling is your answer. Foam rolling hurts, like just like deep tissue massages do. But the beautiful thing about this pain is that it's like a satisfying pain. I feel like I probably sound like a psychopath, but it's like a satisfying pain. It hurts really badly, but the more you roll it, the more it starts to feel good. Like the more it starts to you start to actually feel the trigger point getting smaller and releasing. Trigger points, not only are they hyper irritable and they're painful points around your body, they're areas of tension. So as we know by now, the body and the mind are one, they're linked. So if you have tension all over your body, guess what? You're gonna have tension all over your mind too. And releasing these knots out of your muscles, you really start to feel knots in your brain release. Like, it sounds weird, but I'm telling you, like you feel, not only does your body feel more mobile, so you're getting more mobile, but you're also releasing tension from your body, which is releasing your mental health. It's releasing the tension in your mind, so like I said, it's not, a lot of people talk about it in the fitness world, because it's good for performance, because you're getting these knots out of your body, so you can, now you're more flexible, now you're faster, now you can jump higher because your body isn't as restricted. But it's also a very powerful mental health tool, because like I said, you're releasing your body of tension, which in turn releases your mind of tension. And those, my friends, are the 4 unorthodox ways that I improved my mental health. See you in the next video.